They bring 1,000 children to the throne every day, not to teach them, not to save them, to burn them. Their souls keep a dead god breathing. Their screams power the lighthouse that guides humanity through hell. This is not a war crime. This is not heresy. This is Tuesday, and the being they're feeding, the corpse emperor sustained by this endless sacrifice, spent his entire existence trying to free humanity from superstition, gods, and the very idea that such horror could ever be necessary. He succeeded. Humanity survived, and that's the cruelest joke the galaxy ever told. 30,000 years ago, an immortal walked Terra, not a god. He would tell you that himself, a man. If you can call something born in the 8th millennium BC, a man who watched humanity rise, fall, and crawl through the age of strife like a species learning to die slowly. Warp storms had cut every human world off from each other. Civilizations collapsed into techno-barbarism. Terra became a wasteland ruled by warlords with nuclear weapons and half-remembered science. The Emperor unified it all, not through diplomacy, through conquest, but his war had a purpose beyond power. He created the Primarchs, 20 genetically engineered sons, demigods in human form. He built the Space Marine legions. He launched the Great Crusade to reunite every lost human world scattered across the galaxy. And everywhere his fleets went, he brought the same message. There are no gods. There is only humanity, reason, and the Imperial Truth. Religion was forbidden. Superstition was weakness. Worship was the chains he was breaking. He had seen what faith did to civilizations. He knew what lived in the warp, the chaos gods, born from humanity's own emotions, feeding on devotion and belief. His answer was simple. Stop believing. Starve them of worship. Build an empire on science and certainty. But he didn't tell his sons the whole truth. He banned sorcery among his space marines. He told them psychic power was dangerous. He never told them why. He never explained chaos, never named the gods, never warned them what whispered in the warp. He thought secrecy was protection. He thought ignorance was safety. He was wrong. Lorgar, Primarch of the Word Bearers, built a perfect city, Monarchia. Every street aligned to sacred geometry, every building a prayer in stone, millions of citizens living in devotion to the one being who deserved worship, the Emperor. Lorgar loved his father the way humans are built to love gods, with totality, with faith that required no evidence because the Emperor was the evidence. And the Emperor responded by sending Robot Guilliman and the Ultramarines to burn it all. Not just destroy Monarchia, burn it, while Lorgar and his entire legion knelt in the ashes, forced to watch their perfect work reduced to rubble, forced to hear the Emperor's words, "I am not a god." It was meant to be a lesson, a correction. It was the moment the Imperium's future died. Because if the Emperor was not a god, then Lorgar would find beings who were. He went looking, and in the warp, the Chaos gods were waiting. Khorne, Tsiench, Nurgle, Slanesh. They didn't reject worship, they demanded it. And they whispered to Lorgar, then to Horus, the Emperor's greatest son, his war master, the one he trusted to lead the crusade. They told him the Emperor was planning to ascend to godhood, that the Primarchs were tools to be discarded, that everything was a lie. Horus believed them. Half the legions turned traitor. The galaxy burned in civil war. Brother killed brother across 1,000 worlds. And when Horus finally breached the Imperial palace on Terra, when he stood aboard his battle barge and challenged his father to face him, the Emperor came. The Emperor hesitated, even corrupted, even twisted by chaos. Horus was still his son. It cost him. Horus struck him down, tore his body apart, left him dying. Only then, only when a loyal space marine was obliterated trying to defend him, did the Emperor stop holding back. He destroyed Horus, not just killed him, erased his soul. And then Rogel Dorn found him, bleeding out, too damaged to heal. They placed him on the Golden Throne, ancient technology from the Dark Age, part life support, part psychic amplifier, part prison. It keeps him alive, barely, and it lets him project the Astronomican, the psychic lighthouse that burns across the galaxy, the only way human ships can navigate the warp without being lost forever. Without it, the Imperium cannot travel, cannot communicate, cannot exist, but the throne is failing. It was never meant to sustain a being like the Emperor for 10,000 years. So they feed it 1,000 psychers every single day. Children, mostly, born with psychic gifts, hunted by the black ships, brought to Terra in chains. They're led to the throne. Their souls are burned out, their life force fed into the machine. The Emperor consumes them to keep the light burning. 1,000 per day, 365,000 per year. For 10 millennia, 3.65 billion souls, eaten by the god who didn't want to be one. This is not a secret. This is not hidden. This is policy. And every world in the Imperium accepts it because the alternative is darkness. The Emperor wanted to free humanity from religious tyranny, blind faith, stagnation, ignorance. The Imperium of the 41st millennium is a theocratic dictatorship where the ecclesiarchy rules through fear, and the imperial creed is enforced by execution. A civilization that worships the god Emperor with fanatical devotion, where questioning his divinity is heresy, punishable by death. A stagnant empire that has lost most of its technology, where innovation is heresy and ancient knowledge is treated as sacred scripture. A regime where billions die in factories they're born in, never seeing the sky, working until their bodies are converted into servitors, lobotomized cyborg slaves, exterminatus, entire planets burned to ash for a single cult, penal legions, criminals sent to die in human waves, the Inquisition, innocence proves nothing, hive cities where trillions live, stacked in eternal darkness, breathing recycled air, eating corpse starch. This is not an empire at war. This is an empire that is war, and at the center of it all, a corpse on a golden throne, kept alive by the sacrifice of children, worshipped as a god, silent for 10,000 years. Does he dream? Does he rage? Does he even know what they've built in his name? No one knows. He cannot speak, cannot move, cannot die. The worst part? It works. Humanity survives. 1,000,000 worlds, quadrillions of souls. The Imperium is monstrous, cruel, and utterly without mercy, and it is the only thing standing between humanity and extinction. The Tyranids would devour every world. The orcs would drown the galaxy in endless war. Chaos would corrupt every soul. The Emperor wanted to save humanity from becoming monsters. Instead, he saved them by making them monsters, and they survive. Every day, they survive. There's a quote carved into 1,000,000 imperial monuments. The Emperor protects, and he does, not through love, not through hope, through 1,000 children burning every dawn. Through faith he despised, through ignorance he tried to end. He lies on a throne of gold, surrounded by the bones of his dream, and humanity kneels before him, prays to him, feeds him souls, because he was right about one thing: the galaxy is full of monsters. He just didn't realize humanity would need to become one of them to survive. The cruelest lie isn't that the Emperor is a god. It's that he has to